Hi, welcome to the Rapid Profit Booster Summit. I'm Stacey Hylen, your host for the summit. I am a business coach, author, speaker, and I help business owners add an extra zero to their business without the hustle. And that's what this summit is all about, of how you can add profits to your business quickly and easily. We're not talking about strategies that take 6 months or a year to implement. These are things that are quick that you can do this week, this month, and increase your sales quickly. We're going to be focusing on 3 key areas that you need. First of all, the mindset. As a former Tony Robbins coach and vice president of consulting, I know how important that mindset is to help you get your business growing and to make that switch to say, you know what, I can grow my profits now, no matter what the economy is doing. Then we're going to be delving into marketing and what you can be doing to separate yourself from the competition and get leads right now. And then the third area is sales. How, once you get that lead in the door, what can you do to convert more leads to clients? So we have business owners that I'm interviewing that have multi-million-dollar businesses, and they are going to be sharing their best strategies with you. So listen in. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point. Take notes, and more importantly, take action. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Rapid Profit Booster Summit. I am very excited because today we have Pasha Carter here with us, and she is absolutely amazing. Let me tell you a little bit about her, and what she's going to be talking to us about today is how to build $1 million business that is on autopilot. So Pasha took a $500 investment and turned it into a multi-million-dollar empire. She started as an NFL cheerleader, and now she's moved to being a multi-millionaire businesswoman. She started her career in direct sales at the age of 23. Today, she's an industry legend and one of America's most famous and most influential direct sales leaders. She is ranked in the top 15 female networkers in the world out of over 14 million women worldwide. She was voted Business Coach of the Year in 2019, voted one of Dallas's most powerful women. It was a former owner of a TV network, and so she is currently on the expert panel at Forbes magazine, where she writes, articles and business advice for CEOs, entrepreneurs, and influencers. And she's been featured in more magazines than we can count. But her passion is helping people break through from financial bondage and excuses that stop them from reaching that true freedom that they want emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And so she wants to help people learn how to earn more, keep more, and invest more so that they can live more. So welcome so much, Pasha. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Stacey. Look, it's always a pleasure. What a lot of you may not know, and I just want to let everybody know this before we even get started. I always say to be a great coach, you need a great coach. And for years of my life, one thing that I've always done is I'm always looking for great coaches, always looking for people where if I'm here, they can take me here. And Stacey was one of my coaches. So I want to commend you and thank you for everything that you've done. We met through Forbes and we've been connected at the hip ever since. So I just want to let everybody know that.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say that. Yeah, and it is so true because, the people that I work with are such high achievers. So high achievers, they're like, you know what, I needed a coach and this is what we did. And like, bam, the thing is that you took action on what we did together. So that's always the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Is that if you don't take action, nothing happens. So today's topic is so exciting because, right now we're dealing with, the economy is in unrest. There's social unrest going on. So there's emotional, problems from that with people. There's the coronavirus going on, pandemic. And so what you're teaching people to do is to build a multi-million-dollar business from home on autopilot, which is great because there's a lot of people that have kids at home doing homeschooling and all of that. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your story of how you've done this. And then let's jump into how other people can start to do this.
Well, a little bit about my story. I've always been out of the box, or shall I say, I've always said there is no box. That's how I've always been wired. So when I got started in business, I was 23 years old. I was in Atlanta cheering for the Falcons. And I also had a full-time job where I worked at Emory University. It was my first corporate job. and I absolutely despised it. You know, I'm a free spirit. I love creating, and I felt like going to a job and punching a clock. It was like all my creativity was dulled. And I will never forget the defining moment for me was my boss at the time at my job walked up to my cubicle. I was in my cubicle, and she started giving me all my list of responsibilities. And I listened to all my list of responsibilities and, you know, what time to clock in, how many breaks I could get, you know, I mean, it was like, and I sat there, and the more she talked, the smaller I got.
Oh.
And I just felt like I was shrinking, and I hated that feeling. Now, I want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a job if you love it. Let me say that. For me, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm wired that way. And that's what I always try to tell people. You can't pull someone into entrepreneurship if they're not wired to be an entrepreneur, just like you can't force someone into corporate America that's not wired that way. And so for me, that day I knew that I had to find something different. And so I started just kind of just asking around, and, you know, I was invited out to this meeting in the middle of the day. I'll never forget. It was like around noon. And it was this guy in front of the room. He was like 26 years old. But here's the interesting thing. He was making more money in a month than I was making all year long working for a living. So I was listening like, first of all, I had my hands folded like.
You were one of those people in the back of the room.
Me. I was that person. I was that person because I'm thinking, really, dude, like, how's that even possible? But the more he taught me some stuff. He talked about the fact that you can either work for linear income, which you show up and you get paid for the hours you're there, or you can do something one time. And you could have done something 5 years ago, like an artist that writes a song and they're still getting paid off of it today. No one had ever talked to me that way. I didn't even know that type of stuff existed. So what started to happen is my arms unfolded and my mind opened up. And I always say the mind is like an umbrella. It only works when it's open. So I started to listen, and he started to pour in all this information. And for the first time in my life, I saw a path to freedom. And when I say I jumped on that road and I said, okay, let me figure this out. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any experience. So I want to, everybody who's listening, to get rid of that. You don't need any of that. Everything you need, you can go and get, because that's what I did.
So I think there's three big things just from what you just said, just from the intro, is that, you know, first of all, is that, you know, being open, right?
Yes.
Nothing ever changes. Like, people that are watching these interviews, if they are not open, nothing is going to change in their life from watching these interviews. The second thing is that, you know, creating leverage, like leveraged income, so that it's, you know, you're doing the work once and it's working for you more than one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you know, being resourceful, which is one of my favorite things from Tony Robbins when I worked with him, is like, you know what? You don't need to have $10,000 to start. You just need to have that heart and the hustle and, you know, the work ethic to make it happen. So that is fantastic. So let's talk about, you know, this is all about rapid profit booster. So the people that are watching right now, what would you tell them to help them start to build their multi-million-dollar business? What actions can they take in the next day, week, month that'll help get them into action and get some momentum going for them?
Number one, Sarah Blakely, who is and every woman knows who Sarah is. And if you don't know her by name, you know her by her garments. She's the founder of Spanx, and she built $1 billion empire. And there's one piece of advice that she gave me years ago that I follow, and it's called start before you're ready. Start before you're ready. And what happens with most people is we're getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. And we feel we have to know everything. We feel we have to have all the ducks in a row. We feel we have to have the logo, the website, the this, the that, before we get started. And we spend all of our lives preparing to start. And we look up, and by the time we're ready to start, the idea is old and we've moved on to something else. So I say you have to start before you're ready. And for me, that's what I did. I was 23 years old. I didn't know anything, but here's what I did know. I knew I wanted unlimited income. I knew I wanted to create wealth, and I knew I wanted to do it for myself. So I started on that journey, even though I did not have the information. And by 25, I hit what we call that entrepreneur roller coaster. And that's a part of it, guys. You're going to have ups in business and you're going to have downs in business. But by the age 29, I was making about 6 figures from home at 29 years old, because I figured out how to start building digitally, how to start, it was I would say it was a half where I do part of it digitally and part of it live back then, because the internet wasn't as popular then. But my thought process was always, how can I eventually get to the point where 100% of what I'm doing is right from my laptop or from my phone? And so then we went on from there. And in my 30s, my husband and I, we earned over $10 million. And guess what?
Wow.
The majority of it was through online building or team building, where we were able to take that team building and bring it online and create entrepreneurship, marketing products, marketing services, marketing whatever it is you want to market, just from your laptop or from your phone.
That is fantastic. So I mean, it's amazing because like you said, you were online, but things were crazy back then in terms of, not everybody was used to it, but what I liked about that is that you were kind of straddling it and saying like, you know what, we're going to do the online stuff because that's the wave of the future, but we're going to still do the in-person stuff because that's what some people needed. But now with the, things closed down, it's like, oh, thank heavens you did digital, right?
Yes.
Because now you know how to do it. So if somebody's starting to go digital for the first time because they're pivoting or changing things up, like you said, start before you're ready. So what kinds of things would you tell people to do in terms of, like you said, you are marketing and selling and things like that? What would you tell people to take action with in their day?
Well, the first thing you have to do is not panic, just pivot. That's why I say, don't panic, because you make bad decisions when you panic.
True.
Listen, everybody's pivoting right now. Corporations who never in a million years thought they would have to pivot are pivoting. Companies that were thriving just 6 months ago have had to pivot because their strategy then is no longer relevant now. So understand that you're not alone. Let's start there. So everybody take a deep breath. That's what I always say. Take a deep breath. And here's what you do. Figure out, and this is what I do, when I'm talking to all entrepreneurs, figure out what it is that you have, whether it's a product, whether it's a business, whether it's service, whatever it is, a combination of all. And what you do is you ask yourself, what are multiple ways that I can monetize this online? So let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say you have a sauce, like a barbecue sauce or something. I'm just going to use that for example.
Yeah.
And maybe you had a restaurant where you were selling that sauce. Well, most people will feel like, well, my restaurant's closed. What am I going to do? Well, look, there's opportunity. Now you can market that sauce online. You can now start your own cooking channel. You can now take that sauce and turn it into a gift basket for people who love barbecuing and grilling. You can take that same sauce and you can get influencers who are into barbecuing to market your sauce. Let them try it. And you've got to get creative. So I always tell people, right now in the turbulent times we're in, there will be more millionaires. I want you guys to hear me, and we're going to come back to this video and play it in another 5 years, but there are going to be more millionaires and billionaires created during this time than ever before in history, because I understand that history has a way of repeating itself, and I also understand trends. And anytime there's an influx of wealth, is during the downturn of an economy. And guess what, people? We can't get any worse than we are right now with all the stuff that's going on in 2020. So there are going to be two sides to this coin. They're going to be the people who stay on the panic side, where they're just kind of like deer in the headlight. And then there are going to be people on the other side that are going to say, okay, these are some challenging times, but let me find a solution to all of the challenges that people are having. There are more people than ever before right now that are watching stuff online. How do you get your visibility up? You've got to learn now how to do the Zooms, how to do the WebExes, where you're now just like what we're doing. It's a virtual conversation. If you don't have a podcast, it's time for you to start a podcast where it's just audio. If you don't have an e-commerce store, hello, it is not difficult for you to get one up in 24 hours. Look, I can show you how to do that. That is not difficult. You can get an e-commerce store up, and even with your product and other people's products, or products that are trending, or products that you love, and you can get that e-commerce store up and learn how to market that e-commerce store and get people coming to your store to buy your products, and you're right here at home behind your computer. And it's not difficult.
I got chills when you said that question. So that's a writer downer. I have my pen during these interviews because you said, what are multiple ways I can monetize this online, right?
Yeah.
And she gave you a great example of sauce. There's so many. I like the fact that you didn't say, what should I do with my sauce, right? Because a lot of people are like, okay, I want to sell it online. I'm going to make my website, and then they don't have any traffic coming to their website.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so what you said is like, let's do a podcast. So you're getting people that are interested in cooking that would be listening to it. Let's do a cooking show. Let's do a multitude of things instead of saying, oh, I'm doing one thing. And if the one thing doesn't work, then you're stuck.
Yes.
So after they've come up with these ideas of the ways that they're going to monetize it, what are the next steps you would tell people to take?
I say the next steps is you've got to go all in. You can't just because you're at home, you can't treat it like a hobby. For me, I always said I'd rather work for myself 18 hours a day than work for somebody else 9 to 5. And that's just me. And that's the difference. When you're an entrepreneur, you got to have some hustle. You got to have a lot of hustle. And so that hustle means when you find whatever it is you're passionate about, you got to go all in. Don't expect people to spoon feed you. None of that's going to happen. Nobody's going to show up at your door and knock and say, hey, I want to buy your product. That's not how it works. So you've got to now go out there and find people. So now you get your site up. What do? Now it's time to do what's called attraction marketing. This is what makes your life easy. So I want to share this with you because let me tell you what most people do. And I know because I was one of them. I used to do this. You go out and you chase people and you track people down and you're trying to find friends or you're sending messages and you're trying to get everybody to buy your stuff and everybody's running from you because you're chasing them. Guess what? When you don't chase people, they don't run. So how do you, instead of feeling like you're chasing people, you're like the fisherman. The fisherman goes out in the middle of the water and they put that bait out in the water, and guess what they do? They just sit back and they just wait because they know they've got the right bait. So they're just attracting the fish to them. And that is how you have to understand and be when it comes to marketing. But how do you do that? There are multiple ways of doing that. Number one, you've got to make sure that when people Google that they're going to be able to find you. Number two, you've got to find those influencers that are out there. You guys, it's a new game. And I'm here to tell you that marketing has changed. Just like Uber changed the game when it came to taxi service and delivery and all of that, influencers have now changed the game when it comes to marketing. Every product that I have, I found an influencer where it's in their brand, and you may pay them a little bit to post, but here's the thing. You can either try to build your following from 15 to 15 million, or you can find a few people who already have millions of people following them and get them to market your product. And that makes it a lot easier. And so for me, that's what we've been able to do. So you find those influencers, but in addition to that, if you don't understand how to market, hire someone who does. It's not very expensive. You can go to many platforms like Upwork. You can go to Fiverr. You can go to Dribbble. You can go to Behance. These are all different platforms where you're able to go hire anywhere from a designer to design your website or someone to do the back end of your website to get the traffic to your website. You pay them a little pennies on the dollar. You pay them a little bit here, a little bit there, and you're able to now, without spending thousands of dollars, have a website or a Shopify store or whatever you want to use to market your products up and running. And you can get that done within, in my opinion, a week's time if you're not just trying to overthink it.
Talk about rapid profit boost right there. Yeah. Instead of taking 6 months to a year, or people that have been thinking about things for 3 years, 5 years. That's very sad. And I think this could be somebody that's a new business owner or somebody who has their existing business that wants to add another product or a service or a class or a launch or something like that, that they just keep waiting. And I like what you said about, going all in, because a lot of times, the thing is people just kind of treat it like a hobby. And when you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get results that are like a hobby.
Hobby money.
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny because when I was younger, when we were, younger married, one of my husband's friend's mom said, "Oh, that's nice that Stacey can help with the grocery money." And my husband says, they don't realize that she's the one who built the lake house and paid for that.
Right. I
right?
love it.
So
Wow.
that's it. You have to go all in and, have that big goal in mind. And I think the other thing that you mentioned that I want to just highlight is that people are chasing. And when you're chasing, I think a lot of people online will say, well, why aren't my friends or family or this person or that person liking my Facebook posts or liking my stuff or buying my stuff? And I think it's that you have to think bigger than your network that you have right now. And that's where you're saying bring the influencers in, bring in that attraction marketing piece will really help to not be like, well, why aren't the people that I know buying my stuff?
Yeah, let's pause there for a minute because you brought up a very good point, and I want everybody to really listen. This is going to save you millions of dollars. Stop getting caught up in likes, because likes don't make you any money. I always train, you can either get excited about likes or swipes. And swipes is when people get their credit card out and they're swiping to buy something. And I am telling you, we are in a world right now where we're sitting around spending our time trying to figure out what to post to get people to like it. And then if a post doesn't get the like, and here's the crazy thing, if 1,000 people like your post, how much money did you make? That's the question I always ask myself. If you're posting something and the goal is something about business or whatever, how much money did it make you? And why? And if it didn't profit you anything, why are we caught up into, oh my God, 500 people like my post? See, I would rather have 50 people swipe than 500 people like.
That is
and
that's like a boop, boop, slap upside the head.
Right. That's an aha moment, I hope, for many.
Oh, yes.
Don't get caught up in the likes, get caught up in the swipes.
That is, if anybody doesn't write that down. And so, all right, so let's talk about this and put this into practical, application. So when you sit down and do your social media or a piece of marketing, what do you think about and how do you shift it to shift from that like chasing to the swipe chasing? What do you go through when you create a piece of content?
You have to ask yourself, first of all, Oprah talked about it for many, many years. What is your intention? So when you post, what is your intention? So if you're posting on your Facebook and it's just to your friends and your intention is to just, show that you're having fun, that's great. No problem, because you don't have any intention. But if your intention is to actually market to someone, here's some advice. Number one, stop being salesy. Nobody likes to be sold in 2020. So I think it was Gary Vee who talks about punch, 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 jab.
Yeah.
Jab, right hook. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the jabs represent where you're just giving away good information. If you are, let's say I'm trying to think of something. Let's say you help people with credit, and instead of you trying to get them to buy your credit repair service, then all you want to do is start posting things that help people, and you're posting articles, you're giving tips, you're giving away free advice. And here's the thing, give away the good stuff. Don't give away just the tips that they can Google. Give them that secret that you're holding on to, give it away for free. And then you do that a few times, and then you go in for the right hook, and then you ask for the sale. But the more that you give and the more good stuff that you give away for free, the more people want to purchase from you. And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's credit repair or health and wellness. I'm in the health and wellness business. So my consistency is I'm always giving health tips, tips for wellness, tips for, working out and little things. And what starts to happen now is, believe it or not, people are attracted to that who are in that field. And they say, well, what are your products? What are you marketing? I don't even have to do the pitches anymore, because people are now coming to me. And it is because you give good information away, and people then want to purchase from you.
Yeah, that is huge. And I think the other thing that happens with that is, Facebook, Instagram, none of the social media companies like when you pitch your products and services, right? They don't like it when you put links out that bring people off of their platform. So not only does it not work for the people that you're posting, but it's also not working for the algorithm. So your stuff isn't being seen as much either. And by showing people good content, then what that tells the algorithms is, oh, people shared that, people engaged with that piece of content. So they're then going to push your content up so more people see it.
Absolutely. Spot on. Because Facebook does not, Instagram, they have options for you to be able to do that. but that is not what their goal is. So then you have to figure out ways around that. And you're absolutely right. And even without their algorithms, which by the way, change all the time. So you have to be aware of that. But you've got to just know that you have the golden goose. You can determine how people respond to you. If you want people running from you, post a bunch of salesy stuff all the time on your page. And trust me, they will run from you. Because what starts to happen, and I get it, we're like, I need money now. I need somebody to buy my product now. And I understand that. And so what starts to happen is you start feeling like giving away everything. You're like, well, when does the money come? And that's a part of being an entrepreneur. It's called patience and it's called persistence. So you've got to persistently post, but you've got to be patient and understand that it may take a minute, but if you do it right and you do it in bulk, like you do it consistent and often, then the profit will come. But don't expect stuff to happen overnight and without you putting in the work up front.
Yeah, for sure. So let's look at somebody that you've worked with as a client, because I think that helps people, because they're like, oh, well, Pasha, she's like a superstar. Of course she can do this. She's already made millions. Let's take somebody that you've worked with and show them as an example, because I think that helps people see it for themselves.
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of my favorite clients is a young lady named Sipo Gumbo is her name. And she's of African descent, and she created this amazing skincare line called Yangu Beauty is the name of it. Ooh. And so when she came to me, she gotten all of these oils and products from her country, and she brought them over to America, and she created this amazing skincare line that when you put it on, I mean, it is the most amazing feeling ever. And it's all natural. It's anti-aging, you know, because you always look at people and go, how is it that you don't age? Like you don't age, you know? And so she created this product line. And so I started working with her and I said, hey, listen, because her whole goal was, I want to get into the retail stores. That's what everybody wants. They want to see that product on the shelf in Nordstrom's or Macy's. And I spoke with her. I said, that's great, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about foot traffic and how many people are going to walk past your product, look on the shelf, look next to all of these other products and choose yours, and how much you have to pay to get them on the shelf. And then I want you to think about this. You're a new up and coming business. You have an amazing product. What if we took that same concept and we put it online? And we got people who loved the product and fell in love with the product, and you created an affiliate model so that every time they sold some, they got a percentage of it. So I connected her with someone who helped her set up an affiliate model, and then also showed her how to set it up where it's an e-commerce now opportunity for her product. And what starts to happen now, whether it's an influencer, top models who love her product's flying off the shelf now because she took it online. And here's the great thing about it. She's spending so much less money because now she doesn't have to pay for the shelf space. She doesn't have to pay all this money for marketing. You know, when you're running a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, it's pennies on the dollar, so it doesn't cost a whole lot. But she took that same concept, that same product, and now she's able to get it out to the masses by simply understanding how to digitize her sales.
That is fantastic. And I think the other thing that's really important there is when you deal with some of these big retailers, you lose control. Yes. Because they say, we want so much product, we want it by this date, and you have a lot more risk involved as well to get everything manufactured, the packaging and all of that up front. And then you don't know what the placement is on the shelves. You don't know, you talked about Sarah Blakely, and one of the reasons she was successful is she actually went in the stores and showed them Spanx in the bathroom, right? And so I think what you're saying is like, take control of your own products and your passion, your story and all of that. And then connecting it with influencers and affiliates is such a powerful model. Thank you for sharing that.
And that's how you create leverage. That's
how exactly.
Because here's the other thing, guys, listen, if you're the only one marketing your product, okay, 2020, let's make it a goal that you need to find multiple people that are excited about your product and that are marketing your product. Because if you're the only person that's marketing your product, it's going to take you a long time to be able to market at scale. So you're going to have to find other people that love your product and maybe give them some type of, incentive. And those incentives can be anything. It could be per product that they sell, or it can be free product that you give them away if they share it with someone. There's so many different creative ideas that you can do, but you've got to find a few people that fall in love with your product and incentivize them to market your product as well. And that is the key to leverage. If you don't do that, you're going to trust me when I tell you I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. And if you want to get burnout and being an entrepreneur, try doing everything yourself.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Especially the sales and marketing. So this has been fantastic. Where can people find out more about you and connect?
Oh my God, are we done? I have so many other.
I know, we could do this for like 3 hours.
Well, listen, if you need me, if you need any help, reach out to me, guys. I'm an open book. I always tell people that, and I do mean that. I answer all of my my social media and emails personally. So my social media is at Pasha. My name is spelled P like Peter, ASHA, at Pasha Carter official on Facebook. So you can go there on Facebook. And my other platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as Instagram, is just at Pasha Carter, Pasha Carter. And my email address is real simple, Pasha Carter at mac.com, mac.com. Or you can just go to my website, make it easy, pashacarter.com.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much. And remember, everybody, don't just learn, implement.
Yes, absolutely. Implement, and remember, start before you're ready.
Oh, yes. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did, but just watching these interviews are not going to get you the results that you want. In order to get that boost in profits, you need to take action and implement. So I want you to take a minute now, write down on your calendar what you're going to do, highlight in your notes the great action steps you identified, and put it on the calendar right now. Now, if you need some additional support in growing your business, then reach out to me for a free session at staceyhylen.com. We will help you add a zero to your business without the hustle. In the last 20 years, I have worked with business owners just starting their business at a zero, to people from 6 to 7 figures, people from 7 to 8 figures, even working with clients to go all the way from 6 figures, 8 figures in their business without the hustle. And that's a key component, because who wants to work 1,000,000 hours to make money and then have no life left? So if you would like some help with that, then go to staceyhylen.com and book a free session. No obligation, no pressure. We're going to help you figure out what are the next steps for you.